Welcome to the AFN Sports Arena with Jantzee and Tory. I'm Jantzee Ellis, along with the Tory Cusimano.
Oh, that's loud today. They're more hyped than usual.
They are. They just had a wild weekend. So as always, we're coming to you from the gorgeous island of Okinawa, Japan. And although we're not in the good old USA, we definitely still celebrated Independence Day. How was your 4th of July long weekend?
It was excellent. It was jam-packed. A bunch of live music, concerts happening. I got out and did some photography around the island. Got a chance to do some scuba diving.
Wow.
I'm a man of many hobbies. A renaissance man, if you will, Jantzee.
I will. Mine started out pretty great. Played a little tennis, went to the beach, barbecued, watched fireworks. But this 4th of July will forever be tainted for me.
Oh,
Can you
no,
guess
why?
No.
Oh, because your man Gordon Hayward.
Because it's the day that Gordon Hayward announced he's choosing the Celtics and leaving the Jazz.
That's very sad. He's played for you guys for a while now. He got his start as youngin' because he's my age. He's 27 years of age.
Okay, so let me tell you a little about old Gordon.
Old Gordon.
Old Gordon.
Oh, that's how we're playing the game now.
Oh, man, breaking my heart. So in 2010, he was the 9th overall pick.
Okay.
And he got his first All-Star selection last year when the Jazz made it to the second round of the playoffs. He was the future of the franchise.
Yeah, he was a very, very good player.
After the departure of Deron Williams, it started a rebuilding phase, and he was to lead that. And the biggest mistake the Jazz made was opting out of one of those veteran contracts a couple years ago and allowing for this free agency to happen this year. And he met with the Celtics, the Heat, and the Jazz. The Jazz did everything they could to get him to stay. They even brought in Ricky Rubio. And in the end, it wasn't enough. He released a very sad letter entitled Thank You, Utah, which tugged at my heartstrings. But it ultimately came down to the Boston sports culture. You can't deny that. And his college coach from Butler, Brad Stevens. He has always been his mentor. It's who he looks up to.
You cannot discount that right there.
No.
If you get a chance to play for your college coach in the pros, it's hard, even if you loved Utah. And I was all ready to launch into this tirade about that's why small market teams will never be any good because these guys get good and they don't want to be re-signed by their small to mid-market team. They just want to go for the bright lights, big city.
But that's
we talked
not
about
Gordon.
it last week. No, I mean, in this case, I think it's got to be mostly Brad Stevens. And this is a guy who brought Butler to a couple of Final Fours.
And he feels like he has some unfinished business because he did leave early to go to the NBA. And, I mean, he didn't sign for chump change either. He got a 4-year deal worth $127 million. And last year in free agency, the Celtics brought over Al Horford. And they have a bunch of stacked draft picks. And, I mean, they made it all the way to the conference finals.
They had like 20 freaking picks in the first round of the draft this year.
So what he wants to do, he wants to win a championship, wants to give it to his coach, whereas he didn't.
Yeah, you talk about unfinished business. They've got unfinished business from their time at Butler, do Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward. The Celtics, just like you mentioned, have some unfinished business as a team, having made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, had that great series with the Bulls. And then felt like they kind of got punked a little bit there in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm ready for somebody to dethrone the Cavs. So if it's going to be the Celtics, this definitely puts them at an advantage. It gets them closer if it doesn't get them over the hump.
Then my Jazz should take that sacrifice. Fall on the sword.
Anything to dethrone the king,
to
right?
bring down the king. The Jazz can't say enough how big of a blow this is to them. They were building their franchise around him. And it really does seem like this is the NBA of the future. Small market teams just can't.
We're not going to be able to do it. Every once in a while, you'll get a team with crazy money to spend, and guys aren't going to be able to turn it down, but it's never going to be long. You're not going to see these superstars playing their entire careers with one team anymore.
Exactly. And, the 4th of July last year, that was when Durant left and announced that he was going to the Warriors, and everybody was, on him, getting down on him. But it's a little different. Gordon Hayward, for a while there, I covered the Utah Jazz. I was able to interview him quite a few times, and he is genuinely the most humble, quiet, hardworking, just puts his head down and goes. And he's a great teammate. Everybody respects him. And you feel that he is genuine in this decision. So I wish him all the best. Breaking my heart, but that's the NBA. That's free agency.
That's how it is. That's the lay of the land, Jantzee.
Exactly. And in other free agency news, Durant, like we predicted, agreed to a 2-year, $53 million deal took a little less.
Yeah, that's it's surprising. I mean, he came out and said he's willing to take a little less money to make sure that the core of the Warriors stay together. But you talk about a guy who, if not the best player in the NBA, then the second best player in the NBA. 2 years, $53 million is chump change. That's bargain bin pricing right there.
Exactly. And because of that, they were able to keep Andre Iguodala for a 3-year, $48 million deal. And although they are getting these bargain contracts, the Warriors are still going to have to pay a luxury tax bill in the area of $40 million.
That's a lot of money.
Winning doesn't come cheap.
No.
And in other news, your Nuggets.
Hey!
You know who they got?
They got Paul Millsap.
They did, for $90 million for 3 years.
You know what? I mean, I'm glad we went out and got somebody. We were a small market team or a mid-market team that just so happened to have a lot of money to throw around this year. We actually became the butt of some jokes because we were trying so aggressively to get Jimmy Butler, to sign Blake Griffin, to get Chris Paul. We were going after all these big names. They called us out on ESPN. Scott Van Pelt personally told us, the Nuggets, to stop hitting up some of their NBA insiders' cell phones, like asking for what the rumors were or what was going to happen and stuff like that. It's really sad, man.
When you know you got a problem.
I'm not really confident in the front office of our team. I like our coach, Mike Maloney. He's a good guy. Our owner is Stan Kroenke, who just moved the St. Louis Rams to L.A. and spurned all those St. Louis fans, and he just lets his kid Josh run the Nuggets and the Avalanche, and both franchises have suffered as a result. Now, I'm happy with the signing of Paul Millsap, but he's not, I don't know, he's not that sexy pick.
Yeah,
he's not that signing that I wanted. You know, he's not that. I mean, it's a splash for sure, and it immediately makes us better.
He's not your franchise player, though.
He's not. I mean, he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
You know, he's not. It's not the next decade. Hey, Paul Millsap, this was 3 years, and there's a team option, I think, for the 4th year. And it's just, I don't know. We'll see. I'm optimistic, but cautiously so.
We'll see. And we promise we're not going to be, home team rooters over here. But these are 2 big stories staying free agency.
Absolutely.
So we got to bring them to you. Now, the beginning of July means more than just NBA free agency frenzy. It also means the MLB All Star break, which is the unofficial halfway mark of the season. Now that we're here, what are some things that have stood out to you this season? Surprises, disappointments?
Well, there's been quite a few on both sides, and even some surprises that have turned into disappointments, disappointments that have turned into surprises. The NL West being so strong, I think, was a surprise to a lot of people. Well, maybe not necessarily, because the Dodgers and the Giants seem like they're going to be in it every year. And the Dodgers are right there, but it's the Diamondbacks and Rockies who have kind of stepped their game up and made the NL West one of the stronger divisions in baseball. But when you talk about disappointments, there's a lot of them. The All-Star Game, last year's MVP, Chris Bryant, plays for the Chicago Cubs. Not even on the All-Star roster this year, and that's kind of a microcosm of the Cubs season thus far.
Now, I was going to say that my surprise is just how lousy the NL Central has been. I mean, everybody kind of anticipates that this Cubs team, after the World Series, would have somewhat of a hangover.
Yeah.
But they have been plagued by injuries. I mean, Jason Hayward and Chris Bryant. But I don't think anyone expected them to be hanging around 500.
No, I mean, this was a roster that was built so well, and they were far and away, head and shoulders, the best team in baseball last year during the regular season and during the playoffs. And to see them, 500 is not bad for some squads. For them, that's god-awful.
But there's hope for them because, in the NL Central last year, they had 3 97-win teams. But this year, a 90-win team could take it.
You never know.
They're only, 5 games behind the Brewers in first place?
And that's the shocking thing, isn't it? That the Brewers are in first place.
And
another
the Cardinals have a losing record,
yeah,
which is surprising.
Cardinals not playing well, and the Brewers got these, no-name scrubs playing for them. Eric Thames coming out of nowhere, hitting, 1,000 home runs in the early going of the season. So we'll see how it shakes out. It's still a long season ahead.
Yep.
Hopefully the Cubs can get it together for their fans. But, they did it all last year, right? They ended the curse.
Yep. The winning air doesn't last long. Fans are already starting to panic.
What have you done for me lately? Chicago fans, notoriously unforgiving, I tell you.
Exactly. So, like I said, MLB All Star Week kicking off this next week. with the Home Run Derby.
God, I love the Home Run Derby.
Isn't it fun?
It's so much fun.
Which you can catch on AFN Sports Tuesday, July 11th at 9 a.m. And the Marlins, Giancarlo Stanton is the defending champ.
That guy is stupid strong.
Yes, he is.
He crushes balls like 450 feet on the regular, which is very difficult to do. And he's playing in his home park.
Exactly. I was going to say Home Run Derby will be at Marlins Park in Miami.
He's got a real good shot to repeat.
And two of the people that I'm excited to watch, New York Yankees' Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez, have both announced they'll be there.
Very cool. I'm not a Yankees fan myself, but this kid, Aaron Judge, I tell you what, he's a very exciting player to watch, and I wish him nothing but the best.
So Judge leads the MLB with 27 home runs this season, which is the second most home runs by a rookie in Major League history at that point in the season.
Whew. Yankees know how to pick them, man.
They do.
I tell you what, they normally rely on those big splash free agent signings, and they'll just hoard it all by spending a bunch of money. This kid came up through their farm system.
He's going to be producing for them for a while. So he is 2 home runs from matching the Yankees' single-season rookie record set by Joe DiMaggio in 1936.
That is a long-standing record. I cannot believe, and that just goes to show you what their model is, the fact that they haven't had a successful rookie like that in a long, long time.
Exactly. So they've got something special. And with somebody that's 6'7", 282 pounds.
This dude is built like Giancarlo Stanton. Honestly, the first time I saw him I was like, did The Rock start playing baseball? He's freaking beefy, man.
Just his presence.
He makes the bat look like a little twig in his hands.
He can definitely have a great standoff with the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how he does in this home run derby. There's a lot of good participants this year, so it should be a lot of fun.
And he already has the longest home run of the season with 495 feet.
And that was just the other day, wasn't it?
June 11th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to watch. And then the All Star Game 2017 will air on Wednesday at 9 a.m., the Midsummer Classic.
So all the leagues have been struggling to make their All-Star games matter for a long time. And the All-Star game for baseball, first of all, the losing World Series managers get to, or the NLCS and the ALCS managers get to manage it. And it determines home field advantage for the World Series. So I think that's really cool. It makes the players have something to play for.
So what's unique is that the fans select the starting fielders, and then the managers pick the pitchers and players for reserves. The ballots are put out on the internet starting in 2015, and the fans choose 8 National League players and 9 American League players.
Whoa, why is it 8 and 9? I don't like that.
It comes out in the wash because there's a designated hitter picked for one, not the other.
Yes, quite.
And then the players, coaches, and managers vote on 16 players for each team, 8 pitchers and 1 backup player for each position. And then the managers, in consultation with the commissioner's office, fill up the remaining 33-man roster. This is where it's ensured that there's at least 1 player represented from every team.
I think that's really cool. I don't think it's fair to get teams shut out, especially because you got like New York and Boston and LA. Like they have way more fans just by the sheer volume of people that live there.
Exactly.
So these rosters would be loaded with those players. That
is one gripe that people have with the fan vote is that fan bases that are very active, like the Kansas City Royals, stuff like that they might have a higher representation. But that's why there are checks. And then after the 33-man roster is announced, there's something called the final vote. And for that 34th spot, 5 additional players set out by the managers, and fans get to choose 1 additional player.
That's pretty cool. I like the fan involvement, but you gotta get the fans involved. You know what I mean? Make them feel like ownership of the All-Star game.
I agree. It's interactive, and it also puts a little bit of personal stake into the outcome of the game because you're watching your players that you put there.
Not to mention the players themselves, like getting chosen by the fans. That's got to be a big honor because at the end of the day, that's who they're playing for.
Now, even though next week is the All-Star break, meaning there will be a lot less baseball games to watch, there won't be any shortage of big events to catch on AFN, including the Tour de France, Wimbledon, PGA Tour Greenbrier Classic, and the 2017 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Make sure you go to myafn.net to check out your complete schedule.
You going to be in Wimbledon, Jantzee?
You know, someday. You're never too old to chase your dreams.
That's right.
Never give up. That's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments for us, we'd love to know what you want to hear from us. Drop us a line at afnsportsarena@gmail.com. I'm Jantzee Ellis, and he's
Air Force Staff Sergeant Tory Cusimano. Whoa, man. What happened to my fans?
They're not giving you as much love today.
I guess not. I didn't give them a punk of the week.
It's next week. We hope you'll hit subscribe and join us next week in the AFN Sports Arena. And don't forget, you have to look good to play good.